Hey guys, it's Tom from Dual Terminal, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my Mekk-Knight Dinosaur deck profile. I think that the deck is really good, I think that the deck's really interesting, and it's really fun to play. It's probably a little bit below Rogue, and it's probably a little bit worse than regular Dinosaur, I won't lie to you, but it's definitely a lot more fun and a lot more interesting, and I think that it's really cool to play. So without any further ado, I'm going to show you the deck. So first up, we've got 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor. This is probably the best starter in the deck other than Misk. It's really good. Searches are foolish as one of your dinosaurs, and pops to Reborn. I think it's really fun to be able to pull this off with like Lost World, even though I'm not playing the Lost World package. Unfortunately, there just isn't room in the deck for it. But yeah, Oviraptor is really good. 1 Misk. Misk is crazy. Have you read Misk? All of those memes. Definitely could come back to 3 tomorrow with like pretty little change, but it's still a really good card, even at 1. 3 Baby. Baby's really good. I'm not sure if 3 Baby is correct or 2. I've been bouncing around between 2 and 3 a lot recently. I think 3 is good in this build because you're playing a lot of cards that destroy from hand, things like UCT and Animadorned, but I don't know, you can sway me on 2. 1 Petite, just Pankratops fodder, does not really anything else. Sometimes it's Oviraptor if you're in a really bad spot, but a lot of the time it's just going to be Pankratops. Those 2, Baby and Petite, set up your columns sometimes for Mekk-Knights, which is really cool. They can go into Almirage, which lets you special summon a Mekk-Knight to that same column if you've got 2 in the column, which I really think is good. 1 Archosaur, I don't know about 1. I would maybe cut one of the babies for another Archosaur, or I would cut the next card for another Archosaur, Jirac-Aiolo. These are both in here because, they set up your columns if you draw them, and I mean, Archosaur is crazy for searching a double evolution pill and popping a baby in hand, but I think that Aiolo is okay because the Halcline that it enables goes into some really cool stuff like Ningirasu and sometimes Apo, and it also sets up your columns, so I'm playing it just for the pure fun of the build. I think that this could definitely be another Archosaur, but you can pretty much play the Hulk stuff, or you can play traditional dinosaur stuff. 1 Giant Rex, standard, Dolka fodder, Banish fodder, just a generally good card. 2 UCT, best boss monster in the deck, probably the best boss monster in the extra deck too, other than DPE. Card's really good. I still think that it's probably one of the best main deck boss monsters. In that same vein, we've got Pankratops. Pankratops is a great card. You'll love to see it going second, which this deck sometimes surprisingly does struggle. You'll love to see it going first because you can pop it in hand if you need to, and then reborn it with something like World Legacy Succession. Just generally a pretty good card. So that is it for the dinosaurs. For the Mekk-Knights, we've got 3 purple and 3 blue, as well as 1 indigo. And these are all the Mekk-Knights I play. I've tested around with playing yellow, I've tested with playing red, I've tested with playing 2 blue and 2 indigo, I've tested with 2 indigo, and I think this is the correct ratio for dozens of reasons. Yeah, I really like purple as like an engine, and then blue as a search engine. Indigo is great because you can use it as 2 monster negates with World Legacy Secrets, which is really good. But yeah, the Mekk-Knight part of the deck is pretty much just link fodder and monster negates, which I think is really good because I don't think Dinosaur traditionally has a lot of trouble with establishing a board, but I think it has a lot of trouble extending. If you get hand trapped on Oviraptor still, that problem's not solved. If you get hand trapped on Scrap Raptor, you pretty much just lose the game. You'll see I'm not playing any of the scrap stuff. I think that this is just solely a good, fun, solid engine to play in this deck. For the last monsters, we've got Dasher and Celestial, your DPE bricks, no explanation, ban Celestial. And then finally, 1 Effect Veiler. Don't know how I feel about this. If you're not playing the Hulk line, you don't have to play this. If you do play the Hulk line, you definitely need to play this. I'm not playing the Celine Access Code stuff, simply because I just don't own it. But if I did, I still probably wouldn't play it just because of the UCT. UCT is just a better access code. It outs pretty much anything in the game other than links. So Effect Dealer's here pretty much for a combo where you go Hulk into Link Karibo, and then you make Ningirsu and send something to out anything that can't be targeted or destroyed. It outs DPE, it outs that Sword Soul level 10 Synchro, that's like indestructible. Just all that really good stuff. So we play the one Veiler. For the spells, we're playing 3 Fossil Dig, best card in the deck, I think. If you get ashed on it, sucks, but I really think Fossil Dig is probably the best card in the deck, other than maybe Fusion Destiny. 1 double Evo, I don't think you need 2. Some people play 2. Pure builds definitely should play 2, but I just play 1 because if you draw it, it's usually gas. You've probably drawn something you can set up a column with for a Mekk-Knight, and then that's almost always a Dinosaur, so it's a Mekk-Knight combo plus UCT, which is crazy. If you don't draw it, you switch it off Animadorned. If you draw it and Animadorned, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I think 1's right. 1 of Reasoning. Yeah, this is a weird one. I really like this. I think this is absolutely insane in this deck because there's literally no good call. If they ash it, you just do your plays. If they don't ash it, they're almost never going to hit it. You can call 4. I think that's what the most monsters in this deck I think are either 1 or 4. No, it's definitely 4. And even if they hit it, like, you probably either have Misk in the graveyard or an Oviraptor, which, I mean, you don't hate that. You know, you didn't want to draw that anyway if you already have your opening hand. So yeah, I just think Reasoning's really good in this. 1 Succession. Succession, also, like, there are Garnets in this deck that are, like, true Garnets, things like Celestial and Dasher. But this isn't one. I think that strong Succession is almost always good, especially with the way that your column management works. If you make something like Link Karibo or Almirage, you just Succession it back to the zone that they point to, and then you have a 1 card, well, it's 2 cards, but you have a 1 Link DPE, which is, you know, really good. I just think the Succession is a good card. 3 Dark Ruler No More. You could definitely, you don't have to play this like this. This should probably be Pot of Prosperity, honestly. I think Pot of Prosperity is really good in this deck. I think that it's a really good card in general, but I sold my copies of it right before this deck profile, and I'm not willing to drop that much money again to build it. So we're playing 3 Dark Ruler. This deck has a lot of trouble going second, chewing through negates. It definitely can, like, swing over stuff and chew through, like, 1 or 2 if you don't have to rely on solely Oviraptor. But I think Dark Ruler is really good because if you draw it, you just set it instead of a column on your turn 1, and if you draw it turn 2, I mean, Dark Ruler is crazy. So, yeah. But this could be anything. This could be Pot. This could be Triple Tack. This could be a 3 hand traps that you like. This is definitely a flex spot in the deck. 3 Fusion Destiny. Best or second best card in the deck. Probably the best card in the deck. Eats an Ash. Makes DPE. Crazy. For the traps, we've got 1 World Legacy Secret. Just go over this real quick. I think Secret's one of the best cards that you can search in this deck. You make Morningstar, and then you discard Indigo, and then set Secret, and then all of a sudden they're locked from 3 columns, and you have 2 monster negates. Because you can go Indigo, off a Succession, or Secret, excuse me, to negate a monster effect, because World Legacy Secret lets you reborn a level 5 or higher monster, and then it negates all non-Mekk-Knight monster effects in that column it negates. So you summon that Indigo, and then you negate the monster effect, and then when they go to summon another monster, put another effect in a different column, you move the Indigo and negate it again. So it's 2 monster negates, basically. Really good card. And then 3 Imperm as our last trap. You could definitely convince me to not play this. I think that this should probably be a high impact hand trap like Nib, but unfortunately I think that you need to set up your columns more than anything, which is very frustrating. Infib just doesn't do enough this format. It's not like stopping any crazy plays. If you time it well, you might be able to get something off, but this is pretty much just here for column management. This could also be your Prosperity cut, because you can set Prosperity, but then you're playing almost no hand traps, so I think this has to be a hand trap. That is it for the main. For the extra deck, we've got 1 Link Karibo, 1 Almirage. Great cards. Set up your columns. It's Foolish Burial your monsters. Not much more to say, honestly. They're just really, really good cards. They're probably the most important link monsters in the deck. I really don't play Secure Gardna because I think that there isn't space with the Hulk combo, but also you just don't need it. With the Mekk-Knights, you're almost always going to have another monster in grave. The times that you need Secure Gardna, you probably are already behind on resources, and you're going to have to end on UCT Pass, and you don't want to end on UCT Pass. At that point, you want to be making DPE, and Secure Gardna can't be used for link material. So we've got Morningstar. Morningstar searches Succession and Secret, or a Mekk-Knight if you pitch another World Legacy or Mekk-Knight card. I make this a lot on boards that I know I can get 2 monster negates into, and then I turn this and something else into Verite Anaconda for DPE. You almost never leave Morningstar on the field. It also protects your Mekk-Knights from battle and damage if your monsters in a different column battle them, which is interesting, but it doesn't really come up that much because you're usually OTKing on like turn 3, so you don't really need to protect yourself from damage. One Hulk. Hulk is for the Hulk combo. It summons Aola, it summons Valor. I mean, it's good, it's fun. It lets you ladder into stuff like Apo and Ningirsu, but it's not the best thing in the world. This could definitely be cut for something like Nightmare Phoenix, or maybe you want to play another Morningstar. This is probably a Prosperity target if you play Prosp. Masquerena for link boards. I usually use a Mekk-Knight. On boards where I'm already ahead or I drew Fusion Destiny, I will usually turn a Mekk-Knight and Link Karibo into this, or a Mekk-Knight and Elmirage. I think the IP it lets your end boards be so much better than they could be, and it also makes an Avermax that's protected. One Verite, like, yeah. Unicorn for link plays. Ningirsu, people don't usually see this coming. It outs a lot of stuff. Hulk plus Valor is Hulk plus Link Karibo into Ningirsu. Verite on turn 2 plus something else. On turn 3 plus something else makes Ningirsu. I think that Ningirsu is just a really good card. It outs a lot of stuff. Apo, because Apo, you make this a lot turn 1. This plus DPE is usually a pretty good end board. Avermax is really good. They usually can't out this. If you make it untargetable and protected by IP, then, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. It definitely, like, isn't the greatest card in this format right now, but, I mean, for a rogue deck that is playing Mekk-Knights, I'm pretty sure this is mandatory, but another Prosp target. And then Closed World, I think Closed World is right. You have to play it in this deck. If you're playing this deck, which link spams, you're going to have to play Closed World because it outs anything if you can't make Ningirsu for whatever reason. But I don't know. It's not the greatest card. It's a graveyard lock against stuff like Phantom Knights, and it resists Nibiru, which is really good. But there's not a lot else that this card's going to really do for you other than out stuff like DPE or your opponent's really powerful boss monsters. That's it for the links. For the fusions, 1 DPE, and then XYZs, we've got 1 Dolka, 1 Logia, just standard stuff for Dinosaur. If you make Dolka, you pretty much win. Dolka plus DPE is crazy because it destroys, just better than Apo. And then 1 Abyss Dweller. You are playing Closed World, but Abyss Dweller is a lot less investment to lock the graveyard, which is really good. So this could be any rank 4, though, and any rank 4 you think is good. That is it for the extra deck. I will go through the side real quick, just because. 3 Nib, 3 Droll, 2 Triple Tack, 1 Called By, 3 Cosmic, and 3 Shared Ride. And so you'll see the Called By, the Triple Tack, and the Shared Ride. That's 6 cards you're going first, which is kind of weird because you'd think that they would make you go first in this build based on the fact, or go second in this build based on the fact that you died like a hand trap, but a lot of the time you end up opening the Mekk-Knight stuff and it spooks your opponent so much that they make you go first. And this is usually like, you see a lot of stuff like this could be the Sanctum package, Artifact Scythe into Sanctum, or the reverse of that. Or just like traps like Ghost and Match, Rivalry, but I like this a lot more because if you get hand trapped turn 1 on your Oviraptor, you can just go Shared Ride on their turn. And if it's Trilurless, you're winning. unless they can kill you. If it is, well, if it's any deck, the thought process behind Shared Ride is that you draw a ton of cards, obviously, but also that you draw into really powerful hand traps like Nibiru and Droll, and Fib, but it's in Fib. I wish you could play Shifter in this deck. That would be pretty good, just as like a main deck over Infib. But yeah, the Shared Ride is really good against a lot of matchups, and then the triple attack and the called by just insulate you when you have to go first. Mostly just for hands that rely on Overraptor. So that is the deck. I really have a good time playing this. I think that it's absolutely crazy. I think that it's can produce some of the craziest boards possible from like a Dino deck. We're not playing Lost World. We're not playing Scrap Raptor. I think those are both really bad in this particular deck because it's more Garnets. You're just used to play more Garnets. Lost World does nothing for you. It doesn't set up columns or anything. So I think this is the best possible build of the deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. Maybe I can change something. Let me know if you play this, please. I'm really curious about other people testing it. So, thank you guys so much.